Hello, Promo Cares Radio. Thank you so much for being here. We have a special announcement today, and we are super excited to have two very, very cool people. Well, four, because I'm cool too. But we've got Ryan Moor, who is Chief Entrepreneur Officer. I love that, from Allmade. And then we have, okay, here we go, Renton Leversedge from SanMar, who is the Chief Customer Officer. So thank you for being here as our guests. And of course, Denise, over, depending on where you're looking, to my right or left, or Brady Bunch, who are you, is from Fairwear up in Canada. So thanks everybody for coming on today and doing this quick little interview. Appreciate it. So I'm going to start with Ryan, and tell us a little bit about Allmade and give us some backstory on your company.
Yeah, Allmade was, I've been in the t-shirt industry since I was, a punk rock kid playing music and creating my own DIY shirts. I started out on the supply side. Our main company that we started was Ryonet and screenprinting.com, and helped a lot of screen printers, print t-shirts. And so the t-shirt was always there, but it was always kind of just a vehicle to make it happen. And I knew good shirts made better screen printers. So it kind of evolved to making where do we find good shirts? And very interested in getting involved in making t-shirts one day, but never really having the reason why, until a customer actually introduced me to a different way of making a t-shirt that was more responsible and had a different story behind it. And that was about 4 years ago at the Impression Sportswear Show in January, I think 2016. And since then, it was the first year was kind of a journey of figuring out what goes into a t-shirt. What's the impact of a t-shirt? Who makes the shirt, and traveling to different areas of the world like Haiti and in the U.S. that, where the fabric comes from, and then the results on the environment, either positive or negative from the fabric, and then same thing with the workforce that makes it a lot. And so it really, after my trip to the Carolinas and then a trip to Haiti, I was really inspired to try to make a better shirt that gave people a different choice, that had a story, that had a reason behind it, that had a why behind it. But not really knowing how to do that, I actually reached out to about 12 of our customers, our screen printing customers, and asked them if they'd be interested in helping start something new. And back then it didn't have a name, it didn't have an Allmade name. Allmade kind of came from actually one of those customers, Dom from Superior Inc. came up with the name Allmade because we were kind of all in this together. And we took a trip back to Haiti in the end of that year in 2016 and kind of put the rest of the brand story together of, responsible labor, environmental sustainability focus of trying to make better choices, and then making a good quality product at the end of the day. Because if you're making a good quality product that people like to wear, they're going to be more interested in how it's made and maybe pay a little bit more for it, and then respect it more and keep it longer. And that's also better for the people that make it and better for the environment.
Very true. And you also were one of the first interviews that Promo Cares Radio ever had, I think, with Roger Burnett. So if you want to hear more of the backstory on Allmade, it's a really fantastic story. So check that out in our archives. And then Renton with SanMar. So now we're going to get to the announcement part. So I don't know if we want to do a drum roll or if, I don't know.
I play drums.
So tell us about why we're all here today. The fun announcement.
No, SanMar is just really, we truly are really excited to launch Allmade exclusively to the industry. And really it's been a 6-month project probably with Ryan to, learn more about the founders, and we've had them in our offices, and we've eaten from food trucks, and we've traveled, and we just are really excited to launch the brand through SanMar. And there's this question: does the industry need another T-shirt from SanMar? Right?
Yeah.
We have a lot of T-shirts, but for us, there was a why. And many brands, you go through this process of thinking, why does our customer need an additional product or additional brand? For us, this hit the bucket of why not. This group of people was just to have a brand come out of the industry like this, and the excitement that was behind all of them individually and then collectively. We're just really excited to help them and to grow this movement that they've started into the industry. So we're launched, it's on our website, and we're excited to keep moving forward with Allmade.
Yay!
Yes.
Right. And I'm curious, you know, from your perspective, Ryan, what did SanMar bring to the table? Like, we're hearing you brought a really fresh, unique product with like a deep social impact story to the SanMar roster. Why SanMar for you? Why is this the right partnership for Allmade?
Well, there are two reasons. I think the initial concept, we wanted to have extremely connected in our hands in the supply chain, knowing where the fabric's coming from and actually helping to manufacture the fabric, you know, knowing where it's cut and sewing, having a relationship with those factories. And so it's really hard to do that with, you know, a small company and then expand it and grow it to different areas of the world, which you really need to be able to expand and kind of upscale and grow. And so, you know, looking out, we decided to go out and look for distribution about 2 years ago, and looking at how everyone distributes things differently. SanMar was really the only one that really does it the same way that we envisioned always doing it, of like really having their hands in every step of the process. And, you know, whether it's joint ventures or partnerships with the different factories they work with in their supply chain, and then the social responsibility and the environmental responsibility behind each one was like, learning that was just incredible. So that, and then we had a big house party at 2 years after we launched, and there was about 100 people there and food trucks. I asked 100 people, hey, we want to go out and if we were going to choose one distributor to work with, and everyone's yelling and stuff like that. Okay, I can't hear you. So everyone had to write on a piece of paper, and we collected the vote, and it was 96 people said SanMar out of 100.
Wow.
No joke. I was like, all right, well, I guess we have our answer. Now I just have to get an interview with them. So
Renton, that's some serious street cred. I love that story. It's a little bit like, Ryan, I've talked to some of our silk screeners when you started coming onto the market and like, hey, have you heard of these guys? Can you help us get these shirts? And some of the different marks that are working. And silk screeners love your t-shirt because they're easy to print. And one of my guys here in Vancouver, you know, we sent some shirts over to him, said, you can tell that a silk screener designed this shirt.
Cool.
Like with us in mind. So you guys both have your own street cred. I'm kind of curious on the supply chain front. How are you keeping, you know, what was this really deep social impact story that you had in Haiti? How is that transitioning through this partnership? What's the supply chain side of it in terms of the partnership? Where are you manufacturing? What can you share us about the kind of supply chain story that hopefully is going to continue with SanMar?
Well, Renton, I think you really encouraged me to come see what you guys were doing in Honduras and the partnerships that you had down there when we first started. And I mean, to be honest, like I was skeptical of Haiti before I went there. You know, I was skeptical of the Carolinas before I went there, you know, and, you know, having seen and been in so many factories, US, I mean, and internationally that aren't great. You're always kind of skeptical going into it, but Renton was like, hey, you got to come see, you know, what we're doing in Honduras and this king grass and these, you know, these places, these orphanages that we support and play soccer with these kids. I'm like, that sounds a lot like Haiti. And so I went down there when was it? June, I think, of last year, Renton?
Yeah, last summer. So somewhere there. Yeah.
And then again in November, and just it's amazing. I think we've always tried to make materials that are more sustainably focused, but to be honest with you, like our factory in Haiti is not green power. Like it's burning diesel to power the factory. It's really the only option. And they didn't have a place to recycle their scraps. And so seeing how much further down the road things with the SanMar partnerships with Alcatex and stuff in Honduras is like green power, green energy from kingrass and from solar and from methane that's a byproduct of that, and recycling, minimal water use, and then just great. I've literally never seen happier t-shirt workers than in those. It's pretty incredible. And so yeah, it just solidified, expanded the story. That's all we want. Like we knew that it was not just about one part of the world. This is a global, one of the largest industries in the world, you know, and the most impactful industries in the world. So we need to take, something and make it bigger.
I think in the end, we had to, when we looked at it together, it started with all the similarities that were already built into Allmade supply chain. So the yarn was coming from a large factory in North Carolina that we use regularly, in a great family business, and we know the owners very, very well. It was, the fabric was finished at Carolina Cotton Works, another family business in North Carolina that we use a lot with our own U.S. textile operations. So the fabric was the same. What I think we're Allmade from the scale side had, where we needed to work together, was working in Port-au-Prince in Haiti is difficult, and just consistent supply out of Port-au-Prince can have challenges because work stoppages are frequent. So what could we do together to maybe bring Ryan and the Allmade team some sources of sewing, especially? So we have a great partner in Haiti, so they could continue to use and support community projects in Haiti through expansion of Haiti sewing. And then the Honduras piece was an ability to bring some sewing to Honduras as well. But the key for us was that the product DNA had to stay the same. We could have made a similar product and had a tri-blend in another one of our brands, but we needed this product. This for printers by printers had to still be the DNA of the product. And so that was critical. And then from the supply chain, though, from a SanMar perspective, the scale, we needed to bring in a few others, and I think we've worked together nicely on it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What else is kind of coming down the pipe on the Allmade side? Like, let's talk a little bit around transparency and telling this story. Like, how are you going to get this story about this supply chain, whether it's the materials, whether it's the social impact, whether it's the, the facilities that you're doing your cut and sew in, what might it look like in terms of your ability to communicate to your customers about this particular product and these particular supply chains that you're tapping into? How are you going to tell your story?
From a SanMar perspective, for our customers buying Allmade now from us, a big part of the why was our customers were really excited to get our own corporate social responsibility report and read it and know who they're buying, whatever product they were coming from SanMar. The why for our customers from a product standpoint is they were struggling sometimes with the end user wants to know the impact of the product and the purpose behind the brand. And it's very difficult sometimes to pass along SanMar through, our customer to an employee or to an end user. So the nice thing with Allmade was that it's there, it's on the product, and then the traceability through a QR code that a customer can go back. They can send it to an end user, an employee, use that QR code and go to the Allmade website and track where that production happened. So the traceability was, as much as we love Ryan and we loved all that piece that they had was something that was really important for us, the ability to be transparent, because we're hearing from customers that they want transparency, but they need to pass it on too fully. So that Allmade is really special in that regard for us.
Yeah. And I think that's that's what we're starting to see as a trend, and what we're getting asked for from our client base, which now tend to be the more sort of progressive sustainability brands out there. And we saw a few things on the floor this past year at the show. A headwear company out of Italy that's got incredible traceability built into their product through QR codes or different technologies, where you can see the fiber, you can see any certifications, you can see everything from, you could actually see what ship it was on, what port it left from, and the day it arrived into whatever port it got to. So it's pretty incredible to see. And whether the end user is clicking in or driving into that story or not, knowing it's there and being able to bring it to the customer. I mean, we share, Renton, we share your CSR report all the time as kind of a writ large for your company, but it is difficult to then dive into product conversations if it's hard to get the information on the product. So I think that's why we're really excited about Allmade, because it actually makes it kind of a twofold conversation. Here's the distributor company we're working with. They're great. Here's their investments, their brands, and then here's the product, and here's the product story. And you can kind of dive deep on both, which is quite rare in our industry. So I salute you that you're bringing both to the table and not, you know, that SanMar's not taking a back seat to this really important conversation around corporate responsibility. You're kind of coming to the table with your own frameworks, your own strategies, and then bringing in these really progressive brands like Allmade to help kind of drive the point home on the end user side. With that in mind, I'm curious, maybe some parting thoughts on, in terms of overall corporate social responsibility, sustainability, whatever you want to call it in the industry. Where do you see things going? What are some things you might, you know, you hope for the industry in terms of things they may embrace into the future, or directions that that you think the industry as a whole, the promo industry, either distributors or suppliers, where do you think it's going?
Yeah, I think it's cool to see the conversation and education really take it to the next level. And I think that's been the journey for the Allmade, you know, group and its customer base, is to educate and to be a part of the actually where that is made at. So we want to continue to do that through not just social media and videos, but also actually we've taken over 100 people to Haiti with us, and many to the Carolinas, and we want to do that in Honduras and then India, wherever we end up manufacturing, because I think you develop a much closer connection with your product behind the scenes when you really understand what goes into making it, and can make better decisions on what you support or what you recommend to your customer base. So education is key. And then from just a fabric perspective, it's been cool to see the transition to like a recycled polyester versus a polyester, but then what's the next step of that? How can we use more like non-petroleum based products or more natural fibers versus you know, synthetic fibers, you know, as we continue to try to find better paths and make better choices.
Interesting. Renton, any thoughts from your perspective?
Our customers, I think they just expect more today. I think they expect brands, and they expect brands to have a purpose and a position and an opinion. And for a brand that is looking to lead a movement in the industry, the brand needs to take some risks at times. You know, for us, we're an industry supplier. We supply everyone in the industry. And I think the exciting thing is to have a brand like Allmade come in. You know, North Face does things on the environmental side in a big way. But I think to have an industry brand that really speaks to our industry so singularly at this moment, between the social and the environmental side, and the ability for them to really start this movement and start the conversation. The majority of the people who choose product are young. You know, what you might be selling to, you know, a big public company but a lot of the people who are selecting product today are younger people, and they're millennials, and they want brand, and they want to understand the purpose behind that brand, and they want to know the opinion of that brand. And I think for us to have an industry-led brand with Ryan and these founders who are willing to take risks, who are willing to change the narrative and to start this movement, I think for us in our mix of product, I think for our customers, this is I think that's what the industry wants. I think that's what our end user companies who are buying from our customers want. And, you know, it's difficult. It's really, really hard to do what Ryan and Allmade are doing. And the brand isn't perfect, and there will be lots of things that will continue to help them communicate. But I think that communication and the transparency and really that opinion that is there behind the people that have shaped this brand is something that our customers need, want, and I think that it will shape how people ask about product, talk about product, and select product in the industry. And I think that you know, we're excited to sort of support that and to be the conduit of their opinions and their thoughts and the brand.
Yeah. I think that's really well said. I hadn't thought of the idea of like a homegrown brand. You know, so often some of the more sustainable kind of brands within the industry have come in and sort of swung in from retail, and the idea that it's a homegrown brand, it's a quality led brand. I think sometimes what we'll often find is these, you know, folks who come out with a product that's really sustainable, but it fits poorly. It's, you know, the colorways are from the 80s, you know, it's not a contemporary quality based product. And you can sell on values, but if you don't have a good product, it's like you're not going to get very far. And I think that's what it's a nice combination with Allmade is it's a great product with just such a deep story, and it's kind of a refreshing combination. Ryan, you were going to add to that?
I would just say if this is driven by people like the both of you that, I know we met this year earlier, Denise, and like the conversations that we had, it's about up-leveling the conversation. I just got a chance to review footage from one of our last trips, and there was about 10 interviews from all different walks of life and ethnicities. And at the end, every person was learning their own journey within Allmade, and they each said like, I'm Allmade. I am a part of making a better choice or making an impact. And in fact, they start our kind of a new slogan is "Feel Your Impact." And every single interview had that word in it, even though it was a year before we made that slogan. So it was really cool to see, and just very appreciative and lucky to be a small part of a movement that's growing bigger and bigger every day. And I appreciate you bringing visibility to it, and Renton for the next opportunity for the next chapter.
Yeah.
I have the most important question of the whole day. So when you have the food trucks come in, is there a certain type of food truck, or is it just like whatever's available? Because it's like tacos, or is it like, what's going on there?
Definitely tacos. Tacos and tequila.
Okay. Okay.
I think one of the quotes on the inside of our shirt and from one of our founders from Printed Threads, Brett Bowden, is no chips, no salsa, no party. So
that's right. Well, this will be super exciting to watch this whole journey, because it's congratulations to both of you. It's going to be a great partnership. I'm excited to get out and sell it too. And thanks for being transparent, and for a story like this to be able to share with our clients. It really helps as a distributor in the industry. So we really appreciate it. So anything else to add? Anyone?
No, just thank you for having us and helping us tell the story. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Take care, everybody.